All right, your unified facility criteria design petroleum fuel facilities approved by Public Release Distribution Unlimited. Unified facility criteria format standards, any copyrighted material, including the UFC, is identified at these points. Use the copyrighted material apart from the UFC must have permission of the copyright holder. U.S. Army Corps Engineering, Navy Facility Engineering, Commanding, Preparing Activity, Air Force Civil Engineering Support Agencies. Recommended changes. The forward. The Unified Facility Criteria System is prescribed in Military Standard 307, provides the planning, design, and construction, sustainment, restoration, modernization criteria. Applies to the military defense agencies, the DoD field its activities in accordance with the U.S. United States Secretary of the Department of Acquisition, Technology, and Logistics Memorandum, and dated 29th of May 2nd, 2002. The UFC will use the DoD projects and work other customers appropriate. All construction outside the United States is also governed by the state forces of agreements, host nation funded construction agreements, and in some instances bilateral infrastructure agreements. Therefore, the acquisition team must ensure the compliance with the most stringent UFC for the SOFA and the status of force agreements and host nation field funded construction and bilateral infrastructure agreements. The UFC living documents will be periodically reviewed and updated, made available to users. Services responsible for providing technical criteria for military construction headquarters, Armed Corporation, U.S. Army Corps Engineering, Navy Civil Engineering Command, Navy FACT, Air Force Center of Engineering and Environment, AFCE, responsible administration of the UFC system. Defensive agencies should contact preparing, servicing, documentation, interpretation, improvements. Technical content of the UFC is responsible contingency of the DoD working group. Recommended change of support of the rationality should be sent for the respective service proponent office. The following electronic criteria change request. This form is also accessible to the internet access below. The USC, effective upon issuance, is distributed with electronic media of the following sources. When the whole building design of the DoD WBDG dod.wbdg.org. Hard copies of UFC printed electronic media should be checked against the current electronic version prior to ensuring that they are current. James Dalton P., Joseph Gott, Michael McAndron, and Dennis Furman. All right, you revision summary sheet, the UFC 34601. 16 January 2004. Note the UF 3460 and September January 2004 did not occur. The changes in Military Handbook 1222, 1st of November 1999. The description of the change, the updated date of the UFC 34601 incorporates the change design requirements of fuel facility change are based on lessons learned with the previous guidelines, new technology of updated requirements for the services for fuel handling quality, new regulations, other reference documentation incorporated. These changes will decrease life cycle costs, ensuring the integrity of fuel systems during operation, decreasing maintenance requirements. These include, but not limited to, updating references, requirements of physical security, electrical classification, fire protection, canopies, fuel filtration, isolation valves, tanks, above ground tank spill containment systems, tank appurtenances, coating system, piping system. The updated includes the hyperlink between the table of contents documented in the document and glossary reference. The reason for requirements, the requirements for fuel system related with the facility have been changed due to the fuel type of the fuels currently with the quality requirements of these fuels. The quality requirements for these fuels are set by the Naval Air System Command, Naval Sea System Command, Air Force Petroleum Office, Army Petroleum Office. Many of the changes for the lessons learned with the design, construction, maintenance, operation of fuel facility, many of the references have been changed or out of date. Important facts impact. The change to the Unified Facility Criteria will impact design cost of fuel facilities. However, the following benefits should be realized. Ensure that the fuel quality is used to the Department of Defense air trucks and shipping vehicles, and so the damage realized with the DoD assets. By ensuring all fuel facilities will be standardized through the Tribe service to decrease the amount of maintenance and repair required for the fuel system facility. Non-unified items. These few items of the Navy, Air Force, and Army specify the list of below these items along with the justification for it to be service specific. The Navy requires the use of the fusible link and butterfly valve and inlet with the trucks will stand on supply with the return risers of the aircraft direct following stations. The Navy position of the fusible link valves is primarily because the JP-5, which is primarily used in the Navy, does not have the static dispatcher static dissipator additive, which is more likely to spark during the transportation through pipelines, equipment, and any other fuel. But refer to the paragraph 2.3.14.3. The fusible link will shut off their fire. There is a fire other high temperature event with the U.S. Navy aircraft direct fuel stations are designed to hot refuel aircraft with the fusible link, protecting the aircraft if there is a high temperature event between the tank and the fusible link. The Air Force allows use of internal coated filter separators, pipings, filter separators to the skin of the aircraft. Some Air Force's policy to always filter the fuel at the skin of the aircraft. Any paint carbon particles with the fuel will be filtered before entering the aircraft. The Navy does not filter the skin aircraft, therefore, a filtering separator must be either aluminum, stainless, or piping through the filter separator aircraft being stainless steel. The UFC reference of the service specification documents that the Tri-Service of the Fuel Committee does not oversee. Each of the services has its own requirements of fuel quality and operations. Abstract. The guidance of individual project planning of the preparing engineering construction documentation basic guidance provided with the professional facility planners, engineers, architects for the design liquid fueling dispensing facilities, liquid petroleum gases facilities, compressed natural gas facilities included, and our basic requirements of design fuel system design of receiving, dispensing, and storage facilities, ballast treatment, sludge removal, corrosion, fire protection, environmental requirements. Table 1, Chapter 1, Introduction. Chapter 2, General Design Information. Chapter 3, Bulk Storage Facilities. Chapter 4, Aircraft Fueling Facilities. Chapter 5, Marine Receiving and Dispensing Facilities. Chapter 6, Internal Installation Pipelines. Chapter 7, Ground Product Fueling Facilities. Chapter 8, Atmospheric Storage Tanks. Chapter 9, Piping Systems. Chapter 10, Alternate POL Petroleum POL Facilities. Chapter 11, Support Facilities. Chapter 12, Major Rehabilitation. Chapter 12 is Major Rehabilitation. Chapter 13, Fuel Facility and Temporary Deactivation. Chapter 14, Fuel Facility Closure. Appendix A, Reference to Appendix B, Manual Surge Calculation for a Simple Piping System. Appendix C, Charter of the Department of Defense Facility Engineering Planning Panel. And then a list of tables and figures. Chapter 1, Introduction.